Thank you. I'm standing in Ross Street, which has been transformed into a winter wonderland in hopes to prove that Red Deer is indeed ready to host the Canada Winter Games in 2019. Joining me now is Mayor of Red Deer, Tara Veer. Can you tell me about the importance of hosting a big rally like this today?
It is absolutely essential for the bid committee. It was our pleasure to welcome them today.
192 plaques commemorates the lives lost during the 12-year mission in Afghanistan, including 158 Canadian Armed Forces members, a diplomat, a civilian contractor, and a journalist. This is the 12th stop on a nationwide tour where friends and family can remember the nearly 41 fallen from Edmonton. RCMP have decided not to share where Danny will be moving to or who he will be reteamed with. They want the focus to remain on Danny's full-time work as a police service dog with the RCMP. Friends are identifying the 3 people believed killed in this farmhouse as Gordon and Sandy Klaus and their adult daughter, Monica. Much of the focus today at the old hog barn has been determining just what caused it to burst into flames early yesterday morning. For the Hutterite community that depended on that barn for breeding pigs for much of their income, they say all they can do now is pull together. Police aren't saying much about the events that led to the deaths of 3 people in concert. Sources tell us their names are Sean Lindsay, Joe Sylvester, and Christine Clifford. The Canada Games Committee will make their announcement on September 4th whether to award the host city to Lethbridge or to Red Deer. Stephanie Wiebe, CTV News, Red Deer.
And on local radio shows, social media, conversations around the water coolers, Robin Williams' death has certainly shocked people, but also shone a light on the effects of depression. CTV's Stephanie Wiebe joins me now live here in studio with more on that conversation that has been underway locally. Stephanie?
Daryl, I talked to experts and everyday Edmontonians about this today. Fans wonder how such a funny, extraordinary entertainer could be crushed by depression. The ultimate hope is that a broader conversation about mental illness has now been opened.
I was pretty surprised. You don't think somebody that's, comedy genius is going through that sort of stuff.
He was known for making us laugh, and he left us because of extreme sadness. Depression still found Robin Williams, despite being so well loved.
The external stuff, all the money, the fame, the adulation, the tons of awards he won, clearly it's not enough. It's like if you don't have it inside, if you're not feeling it inside, it's almost like the stuff on the outside, it kind of mocks you.
Psychologist Dr. Gans Ferrand says high-profile figures like Robin Williams are under intense pressure and often aren't able to freely express their struggles.
If you were to complain, you'd feel, almost feel like a whiner, or people would come down on you. It's like, well, what do you have to complain about?
Staff at Edmonton Support Network say Williams' death is shining a spotlight on depression and the need to break down the stigma that surrounds it.
I don't think people understand depression. We don't understand what it means when someone's thinking of killing themselves.
And that such bright figures are also at risk.
I didn't follow that he was troubled at all. I just watched his movies and loved them all.
Now there's so many pressures that there's a lot of people have it.
It's just surprising how many people go through it, I think, is the main thing.
She hopes that barriers can be broken down when people speak up.
That's the best thing we can do, is start a conversation, and the best way to do that is self-disclose. Say, I've had problems with depression. I've had, periods in my life which have been really difficult.
Staff with the support network say there are things we all can do to help others who may be dealing with depression. Be direct. Ask the person if they are thinking of killing themselves. Ask if they have thought of a plan. The more detailed the plan, the higher the risk.
Okay, a big part of the discussion today, though, has also been recognizing what some of the key signs of depression are. So what are the experts telling you that we should watch out for?
Major factors include withdrawing from daily life, not keeping plans, and statements that life isn't worth living. And as we're learning, depression doesn't discriminate. It can happen to anyone, regardless of age or financial position.
As we've seen in this case. Stephanie Wiebe, thank you.
Daryl, today marks the end of an 8-month journey for this town. It's the first Alberta community to have won the contest. And for many Sylvan Lake residents, Hockeyville is about more than just one day. It celebrates its hockey history, just months after losing a piece of that iconic history. It doesn't matter which team is on their jerseys. This crowd is full of fans of hockey.
NHLers will come walking in, and we can get their autographs every time they come in.
Pro hockey players from the Calgary Flames and Arizona Coyotes drew in this Central Alberta crowd, giving a rare close-up.
It's actually pretty exciting because it's almost like a dream come true for our town. It's brought the community really close together.
This is a hometown setting for some of the pros, including hockey broadcaster Ron McLean.
If you think of hockey, we're two things. We're character, we're community. And this was the shining example in all of Canada this year.
That character first shone through this past January when the roof of the Sylvan Lake Arena collapsed from mounting snow. That ice surface has hosted hockey practices and games since the 60s. For longtime arena manager Graham Parsons and several others, it meant it was time to take action.
Like lightning in a bottle. Everybody was down in shock, and they grabbed onto this and took their emotions and just went huge.
Sylvan Lake is Hockeyville, and it's amazing to attach that name now.
In his first visit to the old barn since it first collapsed, Mayor Sean McIntyre says he's proud of the town's resilience.
I mean, the more I think about it, actually, the more I get looking forward to rebuilding, creating new memories.
Remnants of the town's popular pastimes still lie amongst the debris. Sylvan Lake's community spirit hasn't been broken down. The town has also received $100,000 towards arena upgrades, and plans for a new multi-sport facility have already been approved. Today, hockey brought the community together. Reporting from Sylvan Lake, also known as Hockeyville, Stephanie Wiebe, CTV News.
He's one of her top dogs.
Danny is getting a fresh start. His handler, Dave Ross, was shot and killed in Moncton during the second worst massacre in RCMP history. The bond between Danny and Constable Ross was obvious at the funeral when Danny whimpered by his casket and then reached up to smell his Stetson.
I think it'd be fair to say that there was very likely some separation anxiety between Danny and Constable Ross when it happened.
Danny was too young to retire, so the Mounties returned him to the Innisfail Training Centre. It's where Danny was born and where Constable Ross trained him. Inspector Andre Lemieux says just walking through the training grounds brings back memories.
I always think of Dave Ross and Danny because Dave was a person that was devoted and dedicated to Hawk.
RCMP have decided not to share where Danny will be moving to or who he will be reteamed with. They want the focus to remain on Danny's full-time work as a police service dog with the RCMP.
I believe that Dave would say, I want the dog to be with a new dog animal.
The 3-week bonding process is complete. Now Danny is ready to graduate again and return to work. Stephanie Wiebe, CTV News, Innisfail.